It's after midnight, and it's time for conversations about love, family, friends, sex, and life. It's Love and Life with Carol Riddick and Donovan West, only on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hello there, family, and welcome to yet another episode of Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. I am your host, Carol Riddick, and as always, it is my pleasure and my privilege to spend some time with you. And you know, I always enjoy doing so because I tell you that I do. As always, my alternating co host, Mr. Donovan West, sends his love too. And for those of you that can see, you see my assistant, my fur child, Chloe, she's sending her love as well. So here we are, knocking on the door of yet another day, another month, another moment, all while continuing to celebrate some phenomenal women. I love it. I must say that I do. Tonight's guest is just that. How about that? So I'm going to try to make sure that you know all that comprises the woman that she is. And as I quote our very own president and CEO, Sarah Lomax Reese, she states, Nina Lyrispect Ball is a unique, powerful force, giving voice to the beauty, challenges, and creativity in our community. Her lyrical prose provides a smart, honest, searing commentary on our past and present reality. I love that. And that's not it. The African American Museum in Philadelphia states she is Nina Elizabeth Ball. I love it. The new director of programming and education, known to many as professional international artist and author, Lyrispect. Nina is a cultural curator, educator, writer, producer, and outspoken advocate for the all marginalized communities. Family, whew, please help me welcome none other than Nina Elizabeth Lyrispect Ball. Hey there,
Hey,
beautiful.
hey, Carol, how are you?
I will not complain. You hear me? I will
Yes.
not. As my mother would say, I'm fair to middling. She would always
Mm-hmm.
say, she would always say that. She would all, hey mom, hey
Mhm.
mom. So welcome. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
I cannot tell you how excited I am to sit here and talk with you and share with everybody who you are. Now, family, let me tell you something. Let me tell you now. Last time Nina and I saw each other, the very last time we were in each other's company, we were at a cookout. Okay. And I must say, I was a hot mess. I was a hot mess. I think I was eating everything in sight and we were just laughing and everything else.
As was I.
Yeah, okay. Okay. It was such a good time had by
Yeah,
all
it was.
that, you know, when I thought about inviting you to come and talk about your life, I had a moment because I said, oh, this woman, heavens to Murgatroyd, this woman right here. Okay. When I thought about all that, all that you do, all that you are, I became even more excited to have you as a guest today. First of all, I think it is so important that as a woman, we celebrate each other. I
Absolutely.
don't feel like we do that enough. But I feel like as a woman, it's so important that we celebrate each other and we do so privately and publicly. I need to say, girl, you are doing it. And I need to say that when I see you at the cookout, and I need to say that here. So,
Yes,
you
yes,
know,
yes,
and
queen.
I also want to let our little babies, I want our little girls to know that they have a tribe,
Yes.
that is blazing a trail for them, that is saying, okay, listen, I'm laying this groundwork for you. And I
Mm,
love that you are doing that. I love that.
thank
You,
you. It's really just a part of who I am, and it just aligns with my spirit of, reaching back for folk and reaching
Mhm.
across as well as reaching up. So I definitely have always had women and girls, close to my heart in my work. And I think there's just a lack of mentorship, right? And
Mhm.
we also sometimes don't get that one-on-one. So if we can just be examples to people around us and even the young ladies coming up and show what is possible through our work, through our spirit, through who we are naturally without having to compromise our morals and our values. I think
Yes.
that's incredibly important. Yeah.
Oh, I could not have said it better. I could not have said it better. Okay. But so for our family members who may be unaware, can you
Hmm.
please tell us from where you come?
Yes. So I come from a lot of different places. That could be a long answer or a short answer.
Give it to us.
But
Give it to us.
listen, okay, so I'll give the middle story. So I am
Okay.
originally from Baltimore, Maryland, Charm City, born and raised.
Right.
But I did come to Temple when I was 18, and I have lived in Philadelphia since that. So I've lived in Philadelphia longer than I have lived in Baltimore at this point. So like I'm a John, and I'm a homie from Bmore. So we got the nice little twist on it.
Right. Your homie John.
Yes, yes. And then the second part of that is I come from a really strong, amazing single mother, Capricorn, raised with my Cancer sister, my older
Mm.
sister. We're 3 years, 9 months, 6 days, 5 hours, and 14 minutes apart. And
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait, say that again. Say that again. Wait.
3 years, 9 months, 5 hours, 6 hours, 5 days, and 14 minutes apart.
You better, you know what?
Yeah, we were close. We were
You
close.
I would
And so
say.
yeah, one day we sat there and we figured it out. We did our math. 3, 6, 9, 5, 14. Yes.
I
Yep.
love that.
Yep.
Wait, I'm jealous. I'm going to have to call my siblings. Wait, we gotta
Yeah.
figure this.
You
I
should.
love
You
it.
should. I'm telling you. It's a bonding activity. I
I
had
love
the
it.
seeds for putting together my chart before I realized it, before I was even into it. Because we knew what
Mm.
time we were born, and where. So
And so do I, but I love that too. I love well,
mhm.
first of all, I mean, gaining knowledge is so addictive. It's
Mhm.
just a
Mhm.
wonderful thing. Once you learn, you get one little morsel, you want more. It's like pulling that little thread. Like, wait,
Absolutely.
I need to know more. So that's exciting to me. But
Yes.
I am wait, so you just gave me something to chew on. Get out of here. This I'm going to call my siblings, okay? And I am going to do that. Okay? Because I
Good.
think that's
Good.
awesome. Like you said, it's a wonderful bonding activity. It has to be.
It
My si-
definitely is.
for those of you family, okay, let me make you aware. For those of you who know Marcine Riddick, you do know that I am her only child. You do know that. You were not mistaken. But for those of you who know Pee Wee Marshall, you know that I am not his only. So those are the siblings of which I speak. So I know some people are saying, wait a minute. Now I've known
Listen,
you all your life. I ain't never.
okay? A lot of people don't know that I have a brother. I was raised with my sister, but I have an older brother who looks a lot like me. It's uncanny. And he's my father's child as well. Yes.
So I
Yeah.
wanted to make that clear because I don't want anybody saying, okay, what? I've known you all your life. You ain't got no sisters. You ain't got no brothers. What are you?
Right.
Whose people are you
Right.
claiming? Right?
They looking for the receipts.
Right? Whose people are you claiming?
Mhm.
So okay, let me bring myself down because I'm on 10 because I'm so excited to have you here. Okay.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I want to share so much about, who you are and the things that you've done for our family members, like I said, that who are unaware. We claim you, as a John. So you know that you've been a John as far back as I can remember. So we
Yes.
will, we accept homie Johns. That's cool. We got that.
Right.
Right,
Thank you
right.
so much.
You're welcome. I want to start by saying congratulations on being the newly appointed director of programming and education at the African American Museum in Philadelphia.
Thank you so much.
I wish I had a sound effect because
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
give you that right now. I'd give you that. I'd give you all of that. All of that.
Yes. Thank
Family,
you.
if you have just joined us, you're tuned in to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media at 96.1 FM and 900 AM. Let me tell you something. I'm so excited to have my sister here. And you all don't even know why, because I've been talking to her like, I've been talking to her about just everything, right? Right. Everything and nothing, as my aunt would say. You're talking about everything, but absolutely nothing. I want to jump into some things because I want to know about your journey first, but I can't wait to talk about Black Girls Rock. So I was going to jump into that, but I don't want to do that just yet because I want people to say, I want our family to know your
Yeah.
journey. That's what I want them to know.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. So when I started to think about how to even capture it, I started to think timeline wise, right?
Mm,
Um, there's this spirit, inside of a person that really can be the guiding star. And I think that I've been on this journey since I was very young. From a very young age, I knew that, not in a narcissistic way, but I wanted to be on stage. I wanted to say things aloud. I wanted to reach people. I wanted to learn words. And it comes back around to having that single mother, because one of
mm,
our forms of entertainment was going to the library. We would go to the library, rent out all the books that we could, like max out what a child could take out and read all the books before we got home. So my mother, my sister, and I are all avid readers. My mom probably has read thousands of books in her life. To this day, she reads about a book and a half a month. I just asked her the other day. Always, always reading. My sister is actually now a school counselor. But she taught for close to 2 decades in the Baltimore City
mhm,
school system. I come from a family of educators, and good old regular Black folk. I love to say
mhm,
regular Black folk in a really empowering way, because there's some pride for me in that. We don't look down our nose at other people. We mind our manners. We were raised with respect. And
mhm,
also, you don't have to, be rich in order to keep a clean house or to do right by people. Okay. So it's
mhm,
about working with what you have and being grateful for what you have. And, reading and writing was just a big thing for me. And early on, I latched on to stories and fantasy and sci-fi and just my imagination. And luckily for me, my mother, knew that we were two different types of people. And my sister is brilliant in what she does. But I was always attached and latched on to the arts. And so I started
mm.
acting in first grade. I was Mrs. Claus and I was the head witch, always trying to, like shoot for the stars. I didn't want to be the second witch. I was the head witch. I worked for it. Okay. I remember, oh gosh, I remember the first song for my premiere role. It's oh gosh, it's awful. It was like, I'm a witch, I'm a witch with the pointed hat on my head. I something, 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 something. All the children are in bed, or something like that. And that's from first grade. I don't even know how I
Oh
remember
my
that.
goodness.
Oh my
Wait, I
god.
love that. I love it. She said, I'm a
Thank
witch. I like that. That's my part. That's my part.
Yeah, that's your part.
Yes.
Listen. so so it was just something that came really naturally to me and that felt really good. I never was one to really have stage fright. And
Mhm,
when I had nerves, and I still have nerves, it's because I care so much about what I'm putting
mhm,
out when I step on stage. And it's about stepping into that fullness and knowing
mhm,
that that is your moment. So my journey continued when I used to do dramatic reading contests. It was this big thing where you pick a poem and you go and do you know about this?
yes, I used to do that
Yes.
too. I loved it.
Yes.
I loved it. No, you have no idea. I loved that.
Yes. 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 So,
Wow.
right. Oh, we're gonna have to talk more about
I'm
that.
no, seriously. Okay, I'm gonna say something else after you finish what you're about to say. I want to tell you
Yeah.
something else too.
Okay. Good. Okay. Good. So, so, so I would, I would always win, right? I would go up every year and I would always win, right? And for some reason, I guess people thought I had an issue with not winning, which I was really well adjusted to not winning. I was fine with it. But the one year I did not win, I want to say I was in sixth or seventh grade.
Mhm,
And, people were petting me up and this and that. And then one teacher was like, I think you got what it takes to audition for the Baltimore School for the Arts TWIGS program. And TWIGS stands for To Work in Gaining Skills. So it was
Mm.
always my teachers who were those additional people in my life that saw promise in me, that ushered me into the next stage of my life. So I auditioned for that with a monologue from our town. I got in, I studied under TWIGS. Those same teachers encouraged me to apply for Baltimore School for the Arts, the theater company.
Mm-hmm.
And I was one of 18 out of, we never know the number, but 400 to 700 applicants. I was one of 18 accepted into the theater company at Baltimore School for the Arts. And so
That
from there, yeah, I know. And tell me when to stop, because that's just the beginning of the
no,
journey.
please, no, please do continue. Please continue.
Awesome,
Oh my
awesome.
goodness.
Yes, and from
Wait, no,
there,
wait, first, wait, okay, I do want to take pause. I do.
okay,
You said that's the beginning of the journey. Family, did you hear that? She said that's the beginning, one of 18 out of a few hundred,
yeah,
not a couple hundred, a few hundred. Okay, I just wanted to stop and take pause there for a moment because listen, every accomplishment should be celebrated. And you said
thank
that
you.
was the beginning, as my aunt would say, the beginning.
Yes,
So go right
yes,
ahead.
yes. But you can imagine for a young person, what a confidence boost that is, because
Hmm.
you think you're pretty good to yourself, but when you actually, you know, make your first big achievement that says, no, wait, you might be on to something here. And then to work with teachers who cultivated our individual gifts and skills.
Hmm.
We did 8-hour days, 4 hours of theater, 4 hours of academic, because it was also a college preparatory school. And so we would get out of school at like 4:10, come in early in the morning. Our school was actually an old hotel, so we were in downtown Baltimore and would take the elevators to class in the winding staircase. Yeah, because it went straight up and it's smack dab in the middle of downtown. Yes, near Mount Vernon. Yes.
Wow. No, that
Yes.
sounds magnificent, really,
It
to me.
you know what? It was
It
it was it was a good time. It was a wild school in a really great way and very small. So it was very intimate. And from that training, they
Mm.
trained us in different dialects. So we would learn like different, English accents and things of that sort. And there's the Cockney and the Gloucester, right? And then there's more of the received British accent, which is a bit smoother and it's a lot more natural than people that overpronounce it when they're mimicking a British accent. And just everything in between,
Mm.
everything. So I got trained out of my Baltimore accent. So, most of the time you won't hear me say to, do, or you. And I love my people. I love to hear it. Yes. So
Ah,
so look, I'm gonna to finish out part one, and I'm gonna pause, and then I'll take us into part two because I want you to be able to jump in. But I could tell this story. I'm
n-
telling you because it's been one thing after another, Carol. So the experience there was really wonderful. Tupac went there, Jada Pinkett went there. And that was pretty cool. People would come by all the time trying to do documentaries and speak to, because my teachers were Tupac's teachers essentially, and Jada's
mm.
teachers. They were still there, the same ones, Donald Hicken and Richard Pilcher and Denise Diggs, who also taught Tracy Toms. And Tracy Toms is, a great actress who's been in,
Yes.
Rent and everything in between. And so we got to the point where it was time to choose colleges, and NYU was my first choice. I got in first choice, early decision, but I just, did not have enough of a scholarship that I was willing to go that much in debt,
Hmm.
because it was even then, a very expensive school, and I was going to continue to pursue theater there. But I remember this lady came to our school from this place called Temple, from Philly, and I was like, I like that too. Like that seemed like a cool place. So that's what brought me to Temple, and I'm going to pause there for a moment.
Heavens to Murgatroyd. Let me tell you everything that you just shared. Family, if you have just joined us, you are tuned in to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media at 96.1 FM and 900 AM. And we're talking with none other than Nina Elizabeth Lyrispect Ball. We're talking about her journey and what you just shared. I mean, I have a visual of this school. Let me tell you, the visual that I have sounds phenomenal. I feel like I really missed out. Like I really missed out. Like I want to go see it now. But no, I actually have a question for you
Sure.
about attending the school. But before I ask that question, we're going to take a short break. And when we come back, I want to hear all about this magnificent place because it sounds like Hogwarts or something. It just doesn't sound like it's real. It sounds like, wait, what? Like, what? Where is this magical place? So, family, stay with us. We will be right back.
Word on Jobs.
A new year is here, and if you're searching for new career goals or a new job that fits your skill set, visit wordworks.com to view jobs and program opportunities, including Community Relations Coordinator for WHYY, Disability Services Director for NBME, and Policy Director for Bicycle Coalition of Greater Philadelphia. Visit WordWorks at word.com and find the career opportunity that's right for you. Brought to you by Pico and Livelihood at Word Radio.
Imagine you on a deserted island all by yourself, or even being in a crowd of people yet still feeling alone. That's what being a victim of sexual assault can feel like. Victims of sexual assault are at an increased risk for developing depression, PTSD, substance abuse, eating disorders, and anxiety. Sexual assault can happen to anyone and is any unwanted sexual contact such as unwanted touching, fondling, groping, or even rape. No always means no, so speak up and speak out. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Black Americans have died of COVID-19 at over 2 times the rate of white counterparts. This is due to systemic racism and healthcare disparities. Here are some tips for protecting yourself. Wear a mask covering your mouth and nose. Avoid crowds. Wash your hands with soap and water. Use alcohol-based sanitizers. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Practice social distancing and follow World Health Organization guidelines. Quarantine if you've been exposed to the virus. Self-isolate if you're experiencing symptoms. Seek medical attention if you experience difficulty breathing, a fever, cough, sudden confusion, or pressure in your chest. If you don't have health insurance or a healthcare provider, try contacting your state health department, community health clinics, or local hospitals for testing and treatment. Together, we can stay informed and empowered. This public service announcement is from the National Black Cultural Information Trust.
When I cross the finish line, it's not just me. I succeed because of others. When I was pregnant, I survived because of others. At 32 weeks, I was diagnosed with preeclampsia and had an emergency C-section. Because my doctor took quick action and my husband was there to help me, I'm alive. Too many women die of pregnancy-related complications, and most are preventable. If you or someone you know is pregnant or recently had a baby, learn the warning signs. It could help save her life. Hear her.
For the Indianapolis Colts. Becoming a running back was no easy task for me, but it's nothing compared to what my amazing mom faces every day. My mom was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy when I was 14 years old, yet she's always there for me, every step of the way, despite her own battles. And the Muscular Dystrophy Association is there for my mom. At their 150 care centers across the U.S., MDA is the leading organization in research and care for kids and adults with muscular dystrophy, ALS, and related neuromuscular diseases. Their research is helping find cures and save lives. Watching my mom go through her daily struggles and the care she receives from MDA has made me determined to help find a cure for neuromuscular disease. That is why I support MDA, and that's why I'm so grateful to others who do too. Join me and learn more at helpmda.org today.
Hi, I'm Tanya Hopkins, aka The Food Griot, the host of Savory and Sweet, a new show about food, history, and culture. Savory and Sweet is a flavorful exploration of food, marinated in the Black experience, seared with history and braised in culture. Each week, I'll fold in conversations that center food and drink at the intersection of business, health and well-being, entertainment, education, and innovation, while separating the facts from fiction on the sometimes surprising origins of what we eat and drink. So join me, the Food Griot, and special guests for Savory and Sweet, Food, History, and Culture every Sunday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. beginning January 2nd, 2022, exclusively on Word, Progressive Black Talk Media.
You're listening to Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent Black media.
Well, hello there, family. Welcome back. You're tuned in to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media at 96.1 FM and 900 AM. Did I tell you that you could email us? I probably didn't because I was so excited talking with our guest, but I want you to know that you can do so. You can send us questions, comments, and even suggest topics to discuss, or you can simply email us to just say hello. We love that too. And you can do so by emailing us at loveandlife@wordradio.com. Did you get that? It's loveandlife@WURDradio.com. You know we love to hear from you. So we've been talking with our guest, none other than Nina Elizabeth Lyrispect Ball. Let me tell you, I love saying it. Can you tell? I love it. I love it. And she was telling us about the beginning, so to speak. Part of we were into the beginning of her journey, and she was talking about a program at which she entered. When I tell you, when she described this school, and I'm saying this for those that missed it, this school sounded like Hogwarts. Hogwarts. Was it Hogwarts? What is it called?
Yep.
From Harry Potter. It sounded magnificent. Okay. I can visualize the staircase. I see the walls. I mean, I'd go so far as to say that you probably had an owl too. So yeah, probably. I don't doubt it. But in any event, I want to know, because you said that Tupac attended this school, Jada Pinkett Smith attended this school, and it sounds like, just from the program itself, from what you explained, my goodness, it sounds like something we need today. But it sounds amazing. At that time, when
Yeah.
you were a student, did you or were you aware of just like what a gift this was? Did you know how phenomenal this program was? Because
Yeah.
I'm saying, as an adult, listening to you describe it.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think that, young people don't always know how blessed they are. I'll say that much,
Mm-hmm.
we're bright-eyed and optimistic, and we hope that we're really good and it's amazing. But looking back, it was an incredible opportunity that changed the trajectory of my life.
Mm-hmm.
There was one other high school I was interested in, and I remember, mourning that for a moment because I had gotten into that school as well. It was called City, and they called it City College for some reason, but it was a high school. And, I've always been into media, and I loved watching shows and whatever else it might be, that would pump these dreams into my head of the traditional high school experience. So I lamented that I wouldn't have the cheerleaders and the football team and the homecoming and all those things. And we didn't have sports. We didn't have a field. You know what I mean? So it was
Mm-hmm.
just arts and work,
Oh my
and so
goodness.
I felt like I missed out on that a little bit before I got there. Afterwards, I was just fine. But yeah, it was a great experience, Carol. It was a blessing. I know that people that did not live in the city had to pay to go there, and I went for free. So that was another blessing. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Talk about a journey. Talk about steps. So you say that while there, you learned of Temple.
Yes.
So you went to Temple immediately after having attended.
Yeah. Yes, I went straight through, and it's so funny. I had a friend that I was good friends with at the time, Jason Dortch, and he had gone to Philadelphia. He was a senior when I was a freshman, and we had stayed in touch. And he had come back from Philly. He went with a friend named Daoud, and he was like, "Yeah,
Mm.
Philly's amazing. It's this place called the Black Lily, and da 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 da." And I'm like, "All right, cool." Because even then, I was a poet. I actually got my name Lyrispect from School for the Arts. It was the pitch for an after school event that I wanted to put on that got rejected because there were writers that knew I was writers, but excuse me, that knew I was a writer and would come to me from the different departments that had nothing to do with writing. And I was like, we should put on an event. And I'm like, lyra, verb, verbal, what? Lyrispect, lyrical spectrum, respect, and aspects. Lyrispect. Yeah. So
I see. I missed out a lot at the cookout because I did not. I never knew that. Never knew that. All the years, and you know what? I always say it though. No matter how much you think you know about a person, you know so little.
true, true.
And having the opportunity to sit and talk with so many of you that have come to spend some time with us, I really am enjoying learning so much more about you. I think that tidbit of information was, it's so important because We're calling you by your name. We're calling you Lyrispect. And to know from where it came and what it means, that's important.
Yeah, yeah. And Carol, I'm enjoying sharing. I don't do, and I haven't done interviews often, or one after another. I do have a couple coming up, but I don't talk about myself that often, like as funny as that could sound to people listening, I really don't. I try to do the work and get it done and let that work speak for itself. But it's been a really interesting, journey because the tie-in to me is just magical because Jason comes back. He says, "Oh, there's this great thing called the Black Lily." And back in the day, I used to have, and I'm looking because I can't reach it, but I used to design my notebooks, my poetry books. I would design each one, and each one would get a different treatment on the front. Like even this one now, like this has Cyrock on it, but I used to use composition notebooks. And so I went and I found an image online about the Black Lily. And it's funny because the Black Lily was kind of winding down just before I got there, but there was still some time in it. So I saw this picture of the Jazzy Fat Nasties and it said Black Lily, and I cut it out and I old school laminated it with just a bunch of tape across, and I pushed out the bubbles, and it became kind of a vision board for me of like, yeah, I like this direction. Like NYU, maybe that wasn't meant to be. I was just meant to know I could get in, but Temple, but Black Lily, but Philly, this seems like something's there for me. And that's a funny story because even more happened once I got to Philadelphia and there was a tie-in with the Black Lily. So there's a few actually.
I mean, it just sounds like everything about like it sounds, you can hear how your steps were ordered. I'll say that because we all know, our steps are, but you can see and hear clearly how your steps were ordered. Yes. And it's always something amazing when everybody on the outside can see and hear after like being made aware of your journey. It's so interesting to me though that you are such an inspiration and such a Renaissance woman that you don't really talk about yourself. Not that you don't get to, because I'm sure there's so many of us that have an interest in hearing about your life, and there will be more after they hear, what you've shared, what you're sharing with us right now. But oh my goodness. Okay, so now you're in Philly because there's so much more. Family, let me tell you something. There is so much more, and there's so many things that I want Nina to share. And trying to pick. I'm trying to pick from the tree, from the tree. And there's so many apples on this tree, but at the same time, I'm enjoying, the way that you're sharing with us. So I don't exactly want to interrupt that either. But okay, so now you're in Philly. Yeah. Please share.
Okay. And I've been working on this for a while, so I'm trying to be as succinct as possible because there's so many moving parts. So maybe one sentence per element. I'm in Philly with a new determination because when I was at School for the Arts, I also wasn't getting roles that I saw like my counterparts, my white counterparts getting, especially girls. They were getting pulled for the ingenue and the one that was doted upon and looked after. And I said, if I go to Temple, I'm going to take up film and I'm going to write these roles that I have not been afforded. I didn't see, even me at the time, did not see those opportunities as much as I love my experience at BSA. So I went to Temple. I majored in film. I had a minor in African American studies, and then I found out it was only a few more credits to get a major. So I double majored in film and African American studies, and much of my work, my research, my studies, my papers was about the images of Blacks in the media and people of color, from Oscar Micheaux being the first, and then all the way up to, who we have at that time when I was 18, 19. Yeah. So.
My goodness. Well, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense to me, as I talk with you now and hearing, of your studies and the choices that you made with regard to your education. It makes so much sense.
Okay. Yes. All right, here I go. All right, I'm gonna do it so well. I'm gonna get through this journey part, and then I'm gonna let you have the floor because it's because it's
this is all about you. This is all about you. This is your spotlight. This is all about you.
It's a reflection for me too, Carol, because it's like you ever just, running this race and you rarely look back to be like, well, how far you've come, like a lot of what I do is I survived for a long time and then I started to thrive. A lot of it was staying alive and working on my art and figuring it out, figuring things out one by one. So I'm in Philly. They have something called Delta Night at the Apollo. I'd made a bit of a name for myself as a poet there, and I won. I got a standing ovation. We tore the house down with this piece called Temple Crush, right? So, because my poems are either about infatuation or revolution at the time, right? So they were loving it, and
That's a big difference.
Yeah, exactly, right, right. But the college kids definitely went for the crush and the longing and all that. And I believe River was in the audience. She was one of the judges. Yes, River Parker of the Black
River,
Lily.
yes, we love River.
And so the Black Lily found me, and River invited me, backdoored me on some carrying in the DJ's crates because you only 18, 19, but you need to be on the stage type thing. And River did that for me multiple times. And it was my first taste of that Philly nightlife. And it was literally my book coming true. It was that vision board, right? Just coming full circle for me. And so I got to hit that stage maybe 3 or 4 times. And it was such a blessing just to be amongst the company, the energy of that like visceral, like Philly vibe, like that dark room and the music and the, you know what I mean?
Yes, I do. The atmosphere, the vibe, to be amongst your own, to be amongst like-minded individuals, to be, I mean, it was the whole spirit. It was magnetic. It was so magnetic.
Yes, it was.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Like I'm having these moments of nostalgia. I'm remembering because there was like during that time, I'm so grateful because when we were coming up, there was a camaraderie. There was a level of support that existed amongst us. We were happy to support whatever your form of artistry or expression was. We were there for it. We were there for all of it. That's so and so and so and so, or that's so and so and so and so, and he does or she does or they do. We were all happy about it. We were happy to tell the next, like, yo, you got to hear so and so and so and so. You just don't know because it was ours. It just felt like it was our own. It was ours. And okay, I got carried away there for a minute because you had me reliving moments.
Listen. I remember with my young self when I went to Brave New World and I saw you sing.
Oh no, you didn't.
Yeah, I did. And I think you had this short cut at the time, and you was doing it, and I was in the front just like smiling and looking up at you. And I could have swore, like I told my friends, I was like, I think she winked at me. You made my young night, I promise you. I was probably giving you all the energy, like, yes.
Oh my gosh. When I tell you, let me tell you something. It was just life back then. You hear me?
Yes,
life.
Yes.
There was a whole nother level to.
It was so good.
It was. And good is such an understatement, right? It was just yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Brave New World, girl.
Yes.
But we talk about Black Lily, Blue Funk, because I was the poster child for Blue Funk, but I mean, loved both and all of them just the same. And then everything that River was doing, everything that there were so many people because Jill, everybody. I can't even think of his name, and I'm so excited right now that his name is escaping me. But in any event, there's so many other people that I intend to make you aware came up with us. Not you, Nina, but family. But those of you who are listening, you hear me falling all over because I'm reliving moments right now. I'm caught in this vortex of nostalgia, and I'm seeing all of these faces, and I'm reliving every single experience at the same time. So I can't get my words out. But in any event, if you are just joining us, you are listening to me unravel. You're tuned in to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media at 96.1 FM and 900 AM. Stay with us, though, family, because we're coming back and we're going to talk about so much more. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
What's up, y'all? It's Janae Latrice.
And Kayla J. Be sure to tune in Monday through Thursday at 7 p.m. for
Crosswords, sharing conversations across generations, right here on WURD.
Progressive Black Talk Media.
We'll see you there.
I remember this one moment. I ran to kind of the water edge, and my mom said something along the lines of like, now it's your turn. Take that first step. When I became a mom myself, I feel like my whole world changed. There's some light within her that makes me continue to do the climate science work that I do. You don't have to be a climate scientist to want to protect the earth. As moms, we care about our children and the environment they grow up in. And for Mia, I want you to know that I worked really hard to be a part of the change and to make it a better place for you.
Email from school about the incident today.
Scary.
Tell me about it. Did you have any idea that was going on?
None. I mean, you saw Derek at the game last night too. Did you have a clue?
No, but you know, teachers like me, parents, we don't always know as much as you guys do. Kids hear first about what's going on with other kids.
Half the time, it's rumors.
It can be hard to tell sometimes, but if you're ever concerned about a friend who's having trouble with alcohol, prescription drugs, bullying, violence, anything, you need to tell an adult. Mom or me, a teacher, coach, school counselor, someone you know and trust.
Dad, no kid is gonna tell an adult about that kind of stuff.
I get it, but if we don't know, we can't help. Speaking up about a problem, that's what helping a friend is all about.
You know, a lot of people say when you're going somewhere, you don't want to look back. But I beg to differ. For her to see her father celebrate his graduation, it's the best feeling in the world. I can't lie and say it was easy. But sometimes you just have to stop everything and take it in. I looked at everything in a different light. And I realized it started with me going back and getting my high school diploma.
We're often influenced by what we see or hear on social media. Beware of disinformation campaigns targeting Black communities by using cultural issues to incite divisions, spread false information, and negatively influence public opinions. We're in this together, and together we can stay informed and empowered. Learn more at nbcit.org. This public service announcement is from the National Black Cultural Information Trust.
I'll be here to hear what's on your mind. Take this time to talk and get it right. You know I'll be there all your life. When you need me, I'll be by your side. By your side. And every day is a different day. Everything is in everything. Even when you think things will never ever be the same. Don't be scared of the world, I'll be here to stay. By your side. Even when your heart ain't listening, or your mind takes you a different way, towards a different path. All you gotta do is sit and ask. When you need me, I'll be by your side.
When the adults in a child's life talk early and often about the dangers of underage drinking, the message gets stronger every time.
I'll be by your side.
Talk. They hear you.
Hey, still shopping for the new year? Or did you receive a gift card for the holidays? Either way, Word Radio's got you covered. Visit wordradio.com and shop at the Word Virtual Marketplace. You can support local, small, Black-owned businesses through the marketplace and shop today. Visit wordradio.com/marketplace or wordworks.com/marketplace. You're listening to Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent Black media.
Hey there, family. Welcome back. You're tuned in to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media at 96.1 FM and 900 AM. We are talking with none other than Nina Elizabeth Lyrispect Ball. And before the break, she was continuing to make us aware of the journey that she's had thus far. Heavens to Murgatroyd when I tell you. But I will say this, because I want to make sure that everyone can they can find you and that they can read about you and find out you know the information that we won't get to share. Would you please share with us your information so that our family members can find you on in the wild world of the what am I trying to say?
The internet. Yes,
Thank you.
yes,
The internet.
yes. Interwebs.
Nina, I don't know
Yeah,
what's wrong with me tonight. I don't know what's wrong with me
it's
tonight.
all good. You're amongst friends. I got your back, sis.
I'm
You
usually
can
telling everybody that you're amongst friends.
You are. You are.
Go right
So
ahead.
people can find me. I'm really easy to find. Thank goodness. It's Lyrispect is the keyword for everything. So on all social media, especially the more social, recreational ones like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, is at Lyrispect. So that's Lyrispect. Again, that's Lyrispect. Now, my website is also www.lyrispect.com. And then on LinkedIn, you could just search Nina Ball and Lyrispect should be in parentheses. So I'm available pretty much everywhere. People get social online. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for sharing that information. I was trying, before we went to break, I was trying to remember Lamar's name, Black Ice. I kept saying, I said, Caroline.
Yeah.
So that's the name that was escaping me in the moment. Because as you know, there were so many of us that came up together. Family, there were
Yeah.
so many of us, but we were
I
talking
talked to
before
him
the
the other
break about
day,
the support.
actually.
Did you?
Yep. Yeah,
Oh
I'm
my
trying to cook up
goodness.
something I actually can't even, tease that out yet, but yes, I
Yeah.
talked to him yesterday, actually.
Yeah, we won't even ask for okay. We will be surprised when it happens and we will be just as happy when it
Yes.
happens. So
Yes.
okay, what I would love for you to do is to continue telling us about your journey because we didn't even get to so many other morsels. We've got so many apples to pull from this tree.
I know. It's a lot, but it's a blessing. I think I just look back and I'm grateful, So my time at Temple led to my time at the Black Lily. I've always had a standard of, at least in my mind, of excellence in terms of what I put out. So not only did I enjoy writing poems, I worked at them, I refined them, I combed through them. I used to sleep with my poetry book under my pillow because I'd wake up in the middle of the night and get inspired. And I taught myself how to write in the dark and decode it in the morning. Like I am a very intense person. Anyone who loves me and knows me personally knows this. And the intensity, thank goodness, has a healthy place to go. So I'm not crazy. I'm just intense. I attract crazy people. No, that's not funny. I'm sorry. You said we just talking.
No,
And
we
I don't feel like it's
talking.
politically correct to call people crazy. But see, mine is not like it's not coming to the core of like mental health. I'm talking about behaviors, life choices. You know what I mean?
You see, I tried to sip. I was trying to sip. Listen. Well, okay, so what we do say, we are unapologetic here. We are transparent. That's what happens here at Love and Life because it's love and life. It's under the umbrella.
Yes, and it is what it is. And honestly, there's a level of professional in terms of me and how I approach things, and there's also a level of relatability that actually will get you much farther at times, depending on where you are and who you're talking to. So I think it's very much about knowing where you are and feeling out the energy. I think energy has been a big part of my journey as well. Kind of knowing when you can go a little further and ask a little more or take more of a risk. And when like that person may not be receptive to a conversation at the time, you really just have to read the energy. And you also can't be like so eager and anxious. You're blinded and don't see that person as a person. A lot of people objectify celebrities or people that are higher up and they just, it's really unfair and unrealistic the way that people treat people in higher positions, and they just make all these assumptions.
Agreed.
And those are the people that usually don't get too far when trying to engage with folk. But part of my journey, after being on the Black Lily, I continued to perform. I took another class. This is one of the first real poetry classes I took. Actually, the only one, because middle school doesn't really count. With Dr. Kamika Williams Witherspoon, and it was called Poetry as Performance, and it was my senior year. I was super excited to do it. Met this really cool guy named Jacob Winterstein, and he actually heads up the Philly Pigeon, along with two other people, Kai Davis and one other person. Their name is escaping me at the moment. But Jake and I were in this class together. The Red Bull Word Clash competition came up, and they were doing something at the time where they were bringing people together nationally to do poetry and win prizes, So I was tired, overwhelmed, whatever, lazy. I don't know what it was at the time, but the deadline was coming up, and I was at the dorm, like, just chalking it. And Jake comes by and he's like, nope, I'm videotaping you and I'm submitting myself and we going. So he had submitted myself and him, and then another poet, Vision, at the time submitted, and three of us actually all got in. We're flown to, I think, North Carolina somewhere. I end up in the top 3. This, and I don't even do poetry slams. So I'm editing like ruthlessly at the last minute, just trying to shorten it. And it's me and Carlos Andreas Gomez and Queen Sheba. And if you know who either of those people are, family, like, they are amazing powerhouses. So I was just glad to be in the room, So I'd spit my little heart out with that last poem, and I didn't win. I lost. I was second place by like point something, or third place by point something points, but it was like respectable. It was like, you can hold your head up around it. Like, I'm like, because I don't do slams. And that's what the poem actually was about, how I don't do slams and how 3 minutes is just not enough time. And Bruce George was in the audience. It's all of it. See, my mantra, I'm telling you, is 3 or 3,000. Same show, 3 or 3,000. Everybody that shows up deserves your best.
There
so
you
I
have
spit
it.
my little heart out. Bruce George, who was of Def Poetry Jam at the time, decides that he wants to feature me on the Def Poetry Jam page. From that page, the Trumpet Awards with Zernona Clayton are looking for a poet that they want to bring to their first show in Atlanta. They contact me, they book me, I fly out to Atlanta, and I meet all these amazing people, and I perform, I think, with Kenny Lattimore and all these other people. It's super cool, right? Fast forward, they bring me back again, this time to the Bellagio in Las Vegas. I booked some shows out in San Fran, and this is little old Nina from Baltimore, by hook or crook, like just riding that energy and just riding that wave, saying yes and thinking about how you're going to get it done later. Just moving by spirit has been a huge part of my journey. A lot of people look at the box and they're like, oh, I can't do that. And I'm like, well, I don't really see a box, and if I do it, there's a little corner where the water can escape, because I'm a Pisces, right? Water is the one thing that can hardly ever be trapped. Always find a way.
Nina.
See, you got me in my bag now, Carol.
Listen, what did I say at the beginning? I said, all right, so this is what's going to happen. This is what we're doing. Okay. And this is what we're doing. This is exactly what we're doing. But I'm going to, for one moment, family, if you are just joining us, welcome. How about that? First of all, welcome. But you're tuned in to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, at 96.1 FM and 900 AM. We know that our family members are joining us there on our socials. We know you're there. We know you're there. And we appreciate you for hanging out with us. We can't tell you just how much. I want to make sure that everybody is aware. Nina said that you could find her everywhere on social media at Lyrispect, and she spelled that, and it is LYRISPECT. Also, she did share with us her website, which she said was www.lyricist.com. Just making sure you are aware of that information, and that you have jotted it down, because we are at the end of the first hour. So hold tight and stay with us. We'll be right back, okay?
Stay Stand with Word Radio, Pennsylvania's only black-owned talk radio station. Join the movement to keep the conversations going and amplify the voice of the black community. Show your support. Start or renew your 4Word membership today at wordradio.com or call 215-425-7875.
You know, a lot of people say when you're going somewhere, you don't want to look back. But I beg to differ. For her to see her father celebrate his graduation, it's the best feeling in the world. I can't lie and say it was easy. But sometimes you just have to stop everything and take it in. I looked at everything in a different light. I realized it started with me going back and get my high school diploma.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made her college years happen. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading a campus tour. And another, and another, and another, and another. Bam! Deciphering financial aid. She was like, what? Now she's like, you aced planning for college. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
I'm Naheem Hines, professional football player for the Indianapolis Colts. Becoming a running back was no easy task for me. But it's nothing compared to what my amazing mom faces every day. My mom was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy when I was 14 years old. Yet she's always there for me, every step of the way, despite her own battles. And the Muscular Dystrophy Association is there for my mom. At their 150 care centers across the U.S., MDA is the leading organization in research and care for kids and adults with muscular dystrophy, ALS, and related neuromuscular diseases. Their research is helping find cures and save lives. Watching my mom go through her daily struggles and the care she receives from MDA has made me determined to help find a cure for neuromuscular disease. That is why I support MDA, and that's why I'm so grateful to others who do too. Join me and learn more at helpmda.org today.
I remember this one moment. I ran to kind of the water edge, and my mom said something along the lines of like, now it's your turn. Take that first step. When I became a mom myself, I feel like my whole world changed. There's some light within her that makes me continue to do the climate science work that I do. You don't have to be a climate scientist to want to protect the earth. As moms, we care about our children and the environment they grow up in. And for Mia, I want you to know that I worked really hard to be a part of the change and to make it a better place for you.
Imagine you on a deserted island all by yourself, or even being in a crowd of people yet still feeling alone. That's what being a victim of sexual assault can feel like. Victims of sexual assault are at an increased risk for developing depression, PTSD, substance abuse, eating disorders, and anxiety. Sexual assault can happen to anyone and is any unwanted sexual contact such as unwanted touching, fondling, groping, or even rape. No always means no, so speak up and speak out. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
You're listening to Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Independent Black Media. Lifting every voice till earth and heaven ring. This is Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia. Black Talk Media.
Well, hello there and welcome. Welcome back to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media at 96.1 FM and 900 AM. You are joining us at the top of the second hour of Love and Life. And we've been talking with none other than the newly appointed Director of Programming and Education for the African American Museum in Philadelphia, who is also so much more, none other than Nina Elizabeth Lyrispect Ball, who has been sharing with us her journey. And when I tell you, we've walked down memory lane, we've talked about, Black Lily, Blue Funk, everybody, all of our friends, and well, we haven't talked about all of them because we'd still be talking. But Nina, I really, 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 I want to share with everybody. We have so much, so much. We've talked about Nina being on deaf. Come on, wait. Let me get this right. You were on was it Def Comedy Jam? Was it Def Comedy Def Poetry Jam?
I was on the website, just the website.
Just the way I wasn't on the website. You say just I wasn't on the website. Like, wait a minute.
People I know were on the show. I don't want to misrepresent myself,
Listen,
people will talk about you like she was on that front end line.
Won't they? They will text us.
Won't even give you the benefit of the doubt.
Why you say that? Because I know. Now, you know that's what they will do. But in any event, so you listen. I wasn't on either the show or the website, so I want to make sure we make everybody aware of your accomplishments. But I mean, that's huge. That is huge. And those of us who know, because we lived for Def Poetry Jam, Def Comedy Jam, we lived for that. That was life.
Yes,
Life. Yes, it was.
Yes.
You say, no, I was just. Okay. I got your just. Okay. I was just. But so from there, where did that take you?
Right. So that took me to the Trumpet Awards. And then I returned to the Trumpet Awards as well. And then also through a spirit, honestly, of service is what led me to some of my larger projects. I just became, I always have had a spirit of service. I love serving. I love volunteering, getting my hands in the dirt, helping other people, cleaning something up, painting something, just making the world better. It's just like at the core of what feels good to me. It's just helping other people. And it doesn't take anything from me, to do for others or to share what I have. And so a lot of blessings came through that as well. And I just entrenched myself in the arts community. To date, I've worked with almost every major cultural institution in Philadelphia, arts wise, whether I was a teaching artist or whether I was a featured guest or a guest curator, performer, poet, whatever it might be, from PAFA to Asian Arts Initiative to Congreso de Latino Unidos. Everything in between, because I just really wanted to serve the city that was showing me so much love. And through that, I was able to be a part of 2 murals in the city. One in South Philly, my poetry is featured on a larger mural, and in North Philly off of Ridge Avenue near Project Home, the poetry that came out of a series of 30 workshops that I co-taught, and we with Vision the poet, and Amber Arts Collective, the visual collective that did the Roots mural actually. Is a combination of poetry from the participants I stitched into one poem. So I was able to be a part of that process. And I've always loved visual art. And, then I don't even know how it started, but, it's very humbling is that a good number of artists have either photographed me or drawn me, right? And I've always been into visual art. And that art went to Art Basel twice, like 2 different people with 2 different iterations. And that was very humbling. And I remember like Stacy Fly Girl tagged me because it was on Swiss Beats' page. And she was like, Lyrispect, is this you? And he actually had found a picture that Tatiana Faslalisa Day took originally of me that somehow ended up, I didn't put it up there, Tatiana. It ended up on Pinterest. And that particular artist had seen it. His name is Al Burtz. He's really dope. And he did ballpoint pen on wood. And that went to Art Basel. Wow. And then another artist, T. Elliott Mansa, did, I think he named that one Water Get No Enemy. and then Alberts named it Nefertiti the Beautiful One, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
was humbled just to be a reference for like these men's inspiration, you know, and for their level of craft to go that far. And that ended up actually being the cover of my poetry book, The Precursor. So it's
Wow.
just full circle art, you know what I mean?
Wow. Oh,
Yes.
oh my goodness. Okay,
Yes.
so
Yes.
wow. First, and you said ball pen on wood, on wood?
Yes, yes. Brilliant brother, brilliant brother. And he's here in Philly as well. Yeah,
I did
he's
not know that.
mm-hmm.
Okay, so we
Yeah.
need to talk with him as well, because okay. So and you just briefly threw in there about your books, about being an author. Please, I want to know more about your journey to becoming an author, and then your reality of being an award-winning author.
Sure, yeah. So it was always a goal to put a book together. I mean, what I love about the people I came up with, which was such a tight knit group at the time, we really just looked out for each other, much like you were talking about. We would big each other up, we would help each other out. The thing to do was a book. Everybody needed at least a chat book, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, and they were going for like 10, and they were like handmade, and I loved it. But you know, me, I'm always thinking, how can I make, you know, this good and better and whatever. So, you know, I was like, I you know, connected with someone who had access to a printing press. And we did a bound book, but it was self-published. You know, it was ultimately self-published. And the first 500 I sold by hand. You know, my friend had a table at Afropunk. She let me, you know, set up there, and I just co-sold next to her. Tramika Joseph, now she's an award-winning children's author. And you know, and I just put that book together on my Mac, on the same Mac that I'm actually talking to you now on. I just opened up Word, you know, or Google Docs or whatever it was at the time, and I winged it, to be honest. I just knew that I had to get a book out because I had all these poems and they didn't live anywhere. And I also knew if I wanted to make some kind of life for myself, I needed a way to have residual income, and that was with having a product. And I really just, you know, called it early and signature works because in my mind it was long overdue, full of poems that some people knew by heart if they heard me, you know, performing long enough or often enough. And I just really, it's the first of an installment of 7, honestly. But I like to call myself Sade, like, and every, you know, I don't come up with, it's got to be 7 years in between everything, but that's when it's bomb when it finally comes out. So that was you know, my journey to becoming an author. And you know, there's still more to come. I mean, the series is called Spectrum of a Supernova, and really I did it for myself, Carol, more so for myself than any audience or anything externally. It was a way to guarantee, by committing myself to a series, it was a way to guarantee that I would create for the rest of my life. If nothing else, my lifelong goal is just to create these 7 pieces of work that tell the story of who I am and how I see the world, and that I was here and what I feel and what I think. So the next one is supposed to be an album, you know, it's an audio experience. The one after that might be a coffee table book full of the different paintings and drawings, you know, with haiku next to them or something like that. So, I think that's also, you know, life and road bumps and everything is why the next hasn't come out yet. But that was, you know, the journey. And I've been writing since. I've completed pieces since. I've performed them around. I'm in the process of compiling another book now. But I'm also taking my time with that. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. First of all, I love the explanation of your process, and I love how you are holding yourself accountable. You said, "Look, this is the way to ensure that I'm going to do this." But not only are you the artist who's creating the product, but you're also the one cracking the whip, saying, "Look, now get this out. You got to get it done." But that's what happens. That's what happens. That is what happens. So. Okay, I know I'm skipping all over, but like I said, family, let me tell you something. I want you to know, how much of a powerhouse this woman is. Okay. So I'm going to ask you to please tell us about leading Black Girls Rock in Brooklyn. I mean, what an achievement, number one. And we so appreciate you for doing so, but and not just for that. I mean, everything. But I'm giving you kudos. I'm going to give you kudos with everything because well, I keep saying you're a phenomenal woman. So please do tell us about that. Black Girls Rock.
I appreciate you so much. And that's where I was going with that service piece, because I actually was volunteering at the Black Lily Film and Music Festival that Maori Holmes was heading up, and I was a volunteer. And DJ Beverly Bond, the founder of Black Girls Rock, had a table right by the door at the Painted Bride. We start chopping it up. I buy the one irregular shirt that she keeps tucking in her bag and then putting on the table because it was a misprint. But I was like, yeah, I want the misprint. Yeah, that's
Right.
fly.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you know what I mean? And so I got her to sign it. We became fast friends in that moment. I gave her the elevator pitch. She snuck me into her DJ set the next day. And it was kind of a wrap from then. We stayed in touch. And I started off as a creative writing instructor. I would come up twice a month when they were on season. And at the time, Beverly was serving girls in the immediate area, right? So we were in Fort Greene. So just, the Brooklyn area, or, maybe a little further. The girls would come in, they would learn DJing on a particular, Saturday, and then they would take creative writing, or at a time they were taking a tap class, or we would go out and take them out to eat and expose them to different cultures of food. And through all of my teaching, because I also started teaching at 16, kindergartners, Shakespeare. I mean, don't get me wrong.
What?
Listen, it wasn't like New York Times material, but at the same time, we did a scene from The Tempest, and I worked all summer on that. And I've been working with young people my entire life, and so I had a natural kind of way with young people that's firm but warm, which is I think why we relate so much. And it's really important for me to stay in touch with what they're thinking, feeling, and what kind of media is being put out for our young people, so I can be aware of the perceptions that they're up against, right? And
That's
so
true.
she liked the way that I handled my class and how I handled the girls. And she said exactly that. She's like, I want you to head up my very first year of Black Girls Rock Queens Camp for Leadership and Excellence. And so I was the director for the first year of the Queens Camp, which at the time was in upstate New York and was 2 straight weeks long in the wilderness with cabins. But straight up. And so we were bussing in the talent. We had Tika Sumpter and everybody coming in, but they were like running late because we're so far out in nowhere. And it was really cool because Camp Ramapo is where it was, is a camp for children who have autism, which was,
Oh, wow.
it was such a beautiful experience. So we were just tucked away in one kind of cabin, in addition to these beautiful grounds and all these amazing kids and counselors. And so I went out early and got the training of like how to diffuse situations, how to support young people with autism and things of that sort. And I met the counselors there, and I became the liaison. And honey, let me tell you, it was baptism by fire. I will tell you that. It's actually the reason that I shaved my sides back then, because we say in the church that I grew up, an outward expression of an inward change. And after that first huge leadership experience, I felt like a changed person. I was a changed woman, and I wanted to show that I was a warrior. And that's where Warrior of Light came from as my pseudonym. And that's when, as soon as I got back into the city from that 2 weeks overnight in the 100+ degree weather, and I was, had a stomach something for 3 days, but was still leading the camp. And the stories around the campfire and talking to the young, brilliant girls. When I say some of the most incredible young women I've ever met in my life, just brilliant girls from across the country and across the world. We had a girl from Japan. Yes, a Black girl from Japan.
Wow.
We had a girl from London. We had a girl from Jersey. We had a girl from, you know what I mean? We had from everywhere. And it was just such a life-changing experience that as soon as I hit Philly, I walked down South Street and stopped in front of the first barber I saw. I said, I need you to take this off and this off. And that's when I cut those locks on the sides.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And so,
wait,
and
okay,
so,
please, because I'm catching my breath.
Yeah, and so from there, I went on to co-direct that following year. We changed the structure. We realized more structure was needed at the top, and so I co-directed that second year. And subsequent years, I co-directed with an amazing small team of women who just are powerful powerhouses themselves that inspire me as well. And we coordinated it. Eventually, that transitioned into just a long weekend, maybe 2 weekends. I can't remember. I know they shortened it, at Barnard and Columbia in the city. But for the first few years, we were in that wilderness, teaching the girls how to swim, having sister circles. And when I say
Wow.
sisterhood is real, like the cattiness that they put on TV about Black women and girls, that's so
Yeah.
little of that is true about how it really is between us. We just want to love up on each other and support each other. And we go through the
Agreed.
same struggles,
Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Agreed. I can't say it enough. I say it
Yes.
all the time. But no, I mean, okay, so what is repeating in my mind about what you were just sharing about the young women that came, or the young women from so many diverse backgrounds, so many different backgrounds. I cannot imagine what their takeaway was from this experience, like all of what their takeaway was, because it wasn't just meeting new people. It wasn't just meeting someone from another neighborhood. It was, I mean, it was meeting someone from another culture, another world,
Yes.
essentially,
Yes.
which is that's a, that's a beautiful gift to a young
It
person.
it feels like a sorority in itself in that they form the bonds, and I think a lot of them are still in touch with each other, and
Oh,
they just,
see.
I mean, our girls at this point, some of our first girls are out of college now, which is so surreal. you know?
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Wait, I feel so old sometimes. Feel so
Child,
old. Wait,
me too.
wait,
Me
what?
too.
Like, wait,
They
what?
business owners and entrepreneurs. Look, one of our girls works for SZA. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, Sage.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh, okay. We got some amazing, and some of them are running for like public office. It's just, I'm telling you, that was the point, is to cultivate that leadership and to root them in the sisterhood of their peers, so they knew there were other girls like them that were excellent and weren't made to feel bad about burning so bright.
That must feel amazing to you. That must feel, I mean, I cannot imagine what that feels like to know that that you played a part in that. You all did the program. All of you played such an integral part in who these young women are today, and the things that they're doing, and in the ways that they are paying it forward and passing it along, which
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love. I love, I love, I love. Oh, I love
It,
that. And we need more of that. And
yes,
we
we
definitely
do.
need more of that. Now I want to skip and fast forward, because I understand that you worked with Array, which is,
Yes.
for those who are unaware, a grassroots distribution with arts and advocacy collective, I believe, focused on films by people of color and women. Is that correct? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And
Yeah.
now I believe it's founded by filmmaker Ava DuVernay. Is that correct as well?
That's
Okay.
correct. Yes.
Okay. Okay. I had the right understanding, but you have to check your facts. You got to
Yes.
check your
Yes.
facts.
Yes.
So please, please, please talk to us about, like, tell us all about that experience.
Sure. Sure. I definitely will. So that was just a blessing in so many different ways. Black Girls Rock I was with for about 10 years. Array I was with for about and a half years, maybe from like 2011 to 2015,
Okay.
right when I took up a marketing job at the time. But again, it's through community that it happened. I worked with Mike Dennis of Real Black. He had me on the show as a host for, I'd say, at least 2 years, and so when people were coming to town, we'd interview, if he didn't want to be in front of the camera. And that was great experience for me. And all those, 10-pound Lyrispect with long locks is on in the YouTube, webs. But he had invited me to a screening like he normally does. And he's like, oh, you should check this, out. There's this filmmaker, woman filmmaker, doing this thing at the Comcast Center, whatever. Now I'm like either tired, just getting in town or something. And I almost did not go. And I'm like, let me just get myself together. You know what I mean? So I pull myself together. I am late, mind you. They haven't started the screening, but I get there and there's this, and I didn't know who to look for. So there's this woman in the hallway talking to this dude. And I don't know who she is. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe that's the filmmaker. I'm not sure. So I go in and, I fix myself up in the bathroom. I put a little more effort in, after I see where I'm at.
Sometimes that happens.
Okay, I'm
Like, give me a minute. Give me a minute. I need a minute.
Exactly. And we just had a chance to chat that night. I think that it was I Will Follow, because Middle of Nowhere came out second, but I think I Will Follow is the one that she was promoting at the time, which was her baby. And we all enjoyed the film. She did a Q&A. I got a chance to chat with Ava briefly, and we just tried to stay connected. And then another Philly person, Josh Duncan, reached out to me and said, hey, this woman Ava, it looks like she's hiring for like a position to to lead a local chapter of this thing that she's starting up, or has started, called well, at the time it was called the African American Film Festival Releasing Movement. So it went by Affirm at the time.
If I could just pause for one moment, because I want us to get all of this meal that you're sharing with us. Family, if you have just joined us, you're tuned in to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. And we're listening to Nina Elizabeth Lyrispect Ball share her journey. I want you all to hear the entirety of this story. So we're going to take a short break, and we're going to continue when we come back. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Tanya Hopkins, aka The Food Griot, the host of Savory and Sweet, a new show about food, history, and culture. Savory and Sweet is a flavorful exploration of food marinated in the Black experience, seared with history and brazen culture. Each week, I'll fold in conversations that center food and drink at the intersection of business, health and well-being, entertainment, education, and innovation, while separating the facts from fiction on the sometimes surprising origins of what we eat and drink. So join me, the Food Griot, and special guests for Savory and Sweet, Food, History, and Culture every Sunday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. exclusively on Word, Progressive Black Talk Media.
I'll be here to hear what's on your mind. Take this time to talk and get it right. You know I'll be there all your life. When you need me, I'll be by your side. By your side. And every day is a different day. Everything isn't everything. Even when you think things can never ever be the same. Don't be scared of the world, I'll be here to stay. By your side. Even when your heart ain't listening, or your mind takes you a different way, towards a different path. All you gotta do is sit and ask. When you need me, I'll be by your side.
When the adults in a child's life talk early and often about the dangers of underage drinking, the message gets stronger every time.
I'll be by your side.
Talk. They hear you.
Black Americans have died of COVID-19 at over 2 times the rate of white counterparts. This is due to systemic racism and healthcare disparities. Here are some tips for protecting yourself. Wear a mask covering your mouth and nose. Avoid crowds. Wash your hands with soap and water. Use alcohol-based sanitizers. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Practice social distancing and follow World Health Organization guidelines. Quarantine if you've been exposed to the virus. Self-isolate if you're experiencing symptoms. Seek medical attention if you experience difficulty breathing, a fever, cough, sudden confusion, or pressure in your chest. If you don't have health insurance or a healthcare provider, try contacting your state health department, community health clinics, or local hospitals for testing and treatment. Together, we can stay informed and empowered. This public service announcement is from the National Black Cultural Information Trust.
When I cross the finish line, it's not just me. I succeed because of others. When I was pregnant, I survived because of others. At 32 weeks, I was diagnosed with preeclampsia and had an emergency C-section. Because my doctor took quick action and my husband was there to help me, I'm alive. Too many women die of pregnancy-related complications, and most are preventable. If you or someone you know is pregnant or recently had a baby, learn the warning signs. It could help save her life. Hear her.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score. So I'm pre-approved. You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
You're listening to Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent black media.
Welcome back, family. You're tuned in to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media at 96.1 FM and 900 AM. We're talking with Nina Elizabeth Lyricist Ball. Look at me. Look at me. See, that's what happens when you slow down. You just need to do what you do. You know what I'm saying? Just do what you do. Do what you do. Man, but in any event, we've been talking about her journey thus far. And before the break, I had asked her about her service with Array, which was founded by filmmaker Ava DuVernay. So she was beginning to tell us, and then I interrupted her. So I'm going to ask Nina, would you please finish telling us? Let me tell you something, family. Let me tell you what she said, though. She said she went to this event and then she got there and she said, wait a minute now, I need a couple more minutes to get myself together, because she didn't want to be there. At first, she wasn't thinking about going. You know, we've all been there. We've all been there. We've all had that moment where we got to our destination and we said, maybe I should have thought about this a little bit more. Let me just go take care of a few things. So, all right.
Yes. So that I did. And, just try to, stay in touch in that way. And as I was mentioning, Josh Duncan, someone I knew at the time, reached out and said, hey, I think that Ava is hiring. I think this company, is hiring, quote unquote. They wanted someone to lead the local chapter of the organization they were starting or had started, the African American Film Festival Releasing Movement, which was known as a firm at the time. So AFFRM was the acronym, which later changed into Array. And now they've built out Array Releasing and Array Now. And it's really amazing to watch the progression of the organization. But I was in there early, you know what I mean, within the first few years of them having started it up. And we did such amazing work in Philly. So essentially I got the job, and that was fantastic. I worked with some really amazing people here. Just Marla's amazing. Stephanie, Jaz, they were my core team and they were like my captains, and just amazing people. And just all of the volunteers here were just stellar people with their own careers and their own lives and their own trailblazing paths. And we really helped light up Philly and get the word out. We would coordinate film releases with headquarters, of course. And we would think of different themes to gather crowds around. Oh, if we did Better Must Come, that's like a Jamaican, vibe. So like, can we coordinate with a beef patty truck, and have a truck out front of the screening, and just really cultivating niche audiences and like bringing alive that love of film. In the beginning, we were actually in solid theaters, the same place that you would go, like a what is it, AMC?
Oh yeah.
Or we were in theaters. We would get like, a few showtimes, and it'd only be up for a weekend or two. But that was a huge deal at the time. Getting independent films on screens like that in multiple cities was a big deal. And so I was Really, really inspired by that. And if you go back to what we talked about around Temple, this is right up my alley. Film African American studies, elevating the, so again, steps being ordered. And I think that I must have did halfway all right. We set some standards in Philly, and I was more or less offered the national position to oversee all the volunteers in the country. And we were called Mavericks at the time. So we were Affirm Mavericks, and I got to lead and co-lead with some amazing women. We had a digital national leader, Malika Mose, always call her Mose. And some other really amazing, really people that we worked with. So I'd be on the leadership call with them, and then I'd trickle that down and lead my own leadership call. And then I'd be running up to New York if we didn't have a captain there. And I'd go to DC if we didn't have a captain there yet. And it was just honestly a lot of fun for me. I really enjoyed it. I learned so much by working locally with our team, but also with the national team. She has some really great, incredible people around her whose business practices are solid. And I always tell friends this, if they let me talk long enough, it was one of the first places I felt kind of normal in terms of my passion and drive and energy of like seeing what a thing could be and how can we make it bigger and how can we make it better, and start answering emails like text messages instead of feeling like it has to be this long delayed thing. Like, say you got the email, say what you need to say in the subject line, and then finish the sentence in it. It was just really amazing, and I learned so much just by being around these different people, and specifically women. The women that she kept around her were just consummate professionals, warm but firm, and I just learned a lot in that time, and we did a lot in that time. So I'm really grateful for the time spent there, and the experiences had through Array.
Okay, I know we are winding down. We're coming to, we will be at the end of the program shortly. And there is something else that I want to share with our family members. So you were recently the recipient of both the Gold Telly Award and the Shea Moisture Emerging Visionary Award. First of all, congratulations on both. Congratulations. Okay. But please talk to us about that. Please talk to us about both of those experiences.
Thank you. Yes, I always thought that voiceover could be another, path for me. And I was always excited about doing it. So it's still connecting the dots. When I transitioned from Array, it was because I had a full-time job at a marketing firm here in Philadelphia. And so I actually started my voiceover journey there, doing work for us, right? And getting to do it in-house and learning there, right? So we produced a few, award-winning, short films and, commercials and things of that sort. And I was like, maybe this isn't a fluke. Maybe I got a little something there, And so, when opportunities arose, few and far between, to do voiceover again, I continued. But they had seen the work I had done with that marketing company, and this group reached out to me. As a matter of fact, I was doing a creative mornings talk, and I met a woman who was there, who came up to me afterwards and invited me. She's like, I don't know what we can do, but I want us to do something together. Comes full circle. We're doing a health and fitness video on running, fall into running, highlighting the Wissahickon. There's this beautiful Black woman, Deanna Suplay, who's the feature in it, and Joe Gajunas and Claire McHale reached out to me and said, let's do a project. We want your original poetry. We want you to write it. And these are the directives. We recorded. It's a match made in heaven. It was the first time I had a director for voiceover, which I like directors. Like, direct me. Like, I know what I'm doing, but I would love a little feedback. That goes for all of my art. Like, I'd love a little feedback, because I want to be the best I can be. We did this entirely during the pandemic. The whole project was done during the pandemic, and the turnaround for it. So it was a blessing. It was the Gold Telly. That video won a few awards, but we did get a Gold Telly for voiceover craft. And we also got a silver for something else. And then it was such a blessing again in the pandemic. And this was one of my first bigger awards, was the Shea Moisture and Good Mirrors Aren't Cheap Emerging Visionary Award. I was one of 10 awardees, along with Isis the Savior, Mary Baxter. She's incredible. She's a powerhouse. She is definitely someone you want to know and talk to. I'm inspired by her every day. She let me know and Andrea Walls know, and we all ended up getting a grant. So we were 3 of 7 nationally that got this, this big grant. Yeah. Yeah, it was great.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my. Okay, so every time you say something, I want to take pause so that we can fully digest it.
Okay.
Because you're not giving morsels here, you're giving full meals.
Okay.
And okay, it's not like you like sharing popcorn. You're giving a full meal each time. But I love it. Okay, I love it because we're here for all of it. And that's the purpose. The
Yes.
purpose is to spotlight you and your journey and your accomplishments. And quite honestly, I think we all understand that there are far more to come. So we're
Yes,
just
ma'am.
listening. But that's amazing. And
Thank you.
I see it's a recurring theme though with you. When you're a participant, and no matter what it is, you're one of um let's say I'll even say 20. Okay, I won't even say, I want to say one of 10 because we know, wink wink, we know because we've heard her say it. I don't know how many times. I was one of 10. Well, I was one of 10. But let me tell you, there's beauty in that. There's so much beauty in that. And I say this because, number one, because it's true. But number two, because as the newly appointed director of programming and education for the
Mm-hmm.
African American Museum in Philadelphia, it brings so much. You bring so much. You are so much. And I'm grateful. Number one, I am grateful to have you in that position and in that seat. But how important do you feel about having an African American woman in the position? How important is that to you?
Our CEO?
No, you being in the position in which you
Oh,
sit.
me.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
me.
yes, you, you. No, you. You said, wait,
Um,
what? No, wait. Like rewind.
right. Yes. Yeah. Um, yeah, I think it's very important. I am very, very grateful. I'm gonna tell you, when I found out, and it was a 4-month interview process. I knew that I wanted this, number one. And number two, when I found out that they wanted me to, I was overjoyed. I was extremely humble. I was very, very grateful. It's just exciting, the possibilities of what we can do with that space,
Mhm.
with this energy, with the collective experience of the staff, with everything I told you about what I've been through, um,
Mhm.
and just and with that grassroots feel as well as that excellence feel. I want to put out programming, and I already am starting programming for everybody, from whether you're from around the way, you have access to the museum, or you're, highly decorated artists and well known, you're welcome at the museum. I just really want it
Mhm.
to be a meeting place where Black folk can be themselves and celebrate themselves and be celebrated for all
Mhm.
the different iterations of Blackness and queerness and Blackness and religion and Blackness, right? And
Mhm.
everything in
Mhm.
between in Blackness, because I don't feel like there are enough safe spaces for us at all. And so, what I want to explore through the programming is this visceral feel of
Mhm.
joy and celebration, right? The museum will root you in our history with audacious
Mhm.
freedom at the root when you first come in. But when you get up to the third and fourth gallery, that's where our rotating exhibits are. And so, we have a really great opportunity to explore further the narrative of Black life in America. So the upcoming exhibition is Derek Adams' Sanctuary. I'm looking at a full-on meta treatment through the programming to
Mm.
complement that particular exhibit. And that has to do with everything from what you hear to what you see to what you feel, and doing that in tandem with the particular work, which is based on the Negro
Mm.
Motorist Green Book, by Vernon
Mm.
Green. And
Yes,
that
yes.
was to establish safe passage and safe spaces for Black bodies. When
Yes.
after the Great Migration, Blacks were in the South and in the North. And when you were traveling back home for a wedding, for a funeral, for a birthday, whatever it might be, you had a long drive, and you
Mhm.
had to find a place to sleep and a place to eat and to get your family safely to and from the South. And so that Negro Motorist Green Book was really critical for
Mm.
so many of us to
Mm.
get through America safely in a time where we still were experiencing blatant threats on our lives and racism, and clearly it feels like history is repeating itself, so we might need a green book again. But also exploring the concept of Black bodies at rest, Carol. Like, how can we rest more? How can we give ourselves permission to be in repose? And what can we do to care for ourselves? So really extracting those themes in Derek Adams's work is how I want to approach the first exhibition at the African American Museum in Philadelphia.
Wow. Oh my goodness. So with everything that you just said, it feels to me like we need a new grand opening. That's what it feels like to me. And I'm here for that too. I am so here for it. I am here for that too. No, I'm excited to hear all of that. You know, I love our history, the good, the bad, and the indifferent. I love us. I love us. I love us. I cannot say it enough, you know, and I'm constantly trying to find or have a piece, you know, of our history, something that I can hold, something tangible, something I can look at, something I can feel, you know, because it makes me feel closer. I just love the joy that it brings me. And I mean that. I mean the good, the bad, and the indifferent, because I love the closeness of it all. So I'm happy to hear you share all of what you just shared, because I can't wait to experience it. Family, we're just going to pause for just a moment, and we'll be right back. So stay with us.
Word on Jobs.
A new year is here, and if you're searching for new career goals or a new job that fits your skill set, visit wordworks.com to view jobs and program opportunities, including Community Relations Coordinator for WHYY, Disability Services Director for NBME, and Policy Director for Bicycle Coalition of Greater Philadelphia. Visit WordWorks at word.com and find the career opportunity that's right for you. Brought to you by Pico and Livelihood at Word Radio.
What do an aerospace engineer, cancer immunologist, and bat scientist all have in common? We all have cool jobs in STEM fields. Whether it's building robots or learning to code, girls everywhere are finding their passion for science, technology, engineering, and math through positive role models and mentors. So dare to dive in, get connected, and explore. You never know what your future may hold. Learn more about these and even more cool jobs at shecanstem.com.
We're often influenced by what we see or hear on social media. Beware of disinformation campaigns targeting Black communities by using cultural issues to incite divisions, spread false information, and negatively influence public opinions. We're in this together, and together we can stay informed and empowered. Learn more at nbcit.org. This public service announcement is from the National Black Cultural Information Trust.
I'll be here to hear what's on your mind. Take this time to talk and get it right. You know I'll be there all your life. When you need me, I'll be by your side. By your side. And every day is a different day. Everything is in everything. Even when you think things will never ever be the same. Don't be scared of the world. I'll be here to stay. By your side. Even when your heart ain't listening, or your mind takes you a different way, towards a different path. All you gotta do is sit and ask. When you need me, I'll be by your side.
When the adults in a child's life talk early and often about the dangers of underage drinking, the message gets stronger every time.
I'll be by your side.
Talk. They hear you.
Email from school about the incident today.
Scary.
Tell me about it. Did you have any idea that was going on?
None. I mean, you saw Derek at the game last night, too. Did you have a clue?
No, but you know, teachers like me, parents, we don't always know as much as you guys do. Kids hear first about what's going on with other kids.
Half the time, it's rumors.
It can be hard to tell sometimes, but if you're ever concerned about a friend who's having trouble with alcohol, prescription drugs, bullying, violence, anything, you need to tell an adult. Mom or me, a teacher, coach, school counselor, someone you know and trust.
Dad, no kid is gonna tell an adult about that kind of stuff.
I get it, but if we don't know, we can't help. Speaking up about a problem, that's what helping a friend is all about.
Hi, family. I'm Carol Riddick.
And I'm Donovan West, and we're the hosts of Love and Life, a new show about,
well, love and life.
This show is an informative, entertaining, and refreshing take on the hard conversations about love and life.
Each day, we'll provide real facts and honest opinions on dating, sexual health, casual, and committed relationships.
These late-night conversations will be served on a judgment-free platter and seasoned with unapologetic realness.
So join us Sunday night through Thursday night at midnight on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
You're listening to Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, Independent Black Media.
Hey there, family. Welcome back. You're tuned in to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. We're at 96.1 FM and 900 AM. I want to remind all of our family members, because I know you want this information, you can email us, and I am encouraging you to do so. You can email us at loveandlife@wurdradio.com. That's loveandlife@wordradio.com. And since I'm sharing our information, I want to make sure you are able to get in touch with or find our guest tonight, who is none other than Nina Elizabeth Lyrispect Ball. And I'm going to ask her to share her information with you once again so that you have it right in front of you.
Absolutely. So I'm at Lyrispect on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and it's just at LYRISPECT. Again, that's LYRISPECT. I say respect with an I, then add the LY, which is how I help people remember it.
I remember you said,
yeah, respect with an I, then add the LY.
Oh, yeah.
I was working towards something. I don't know.
I love it.
I don't know. And you can also find me on Lyrispect.com. That's just general information. I'm more active on social and reachable there. And if you're really trying to get in contact, one of my business emails is hellolyrespect@gmail.com. And so if you know how to spell Lyrespect, you can definitely find me online. And just give me a few days to respond, and don't be weird about it. Everything will be fine. Carol, I know you probably got some crazy messages in your inbox. Don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about, okay?
Wait, the funniest thing about what you just said is just don't be crazy about it. Just, I was like, wait, with the disclaimer.
Somebody asked me to do asked if I did erotic poetry, and I was like, and didn't have an event at all. Just asked if I did it. I'm like, bruh, are you trying to book me or what? Right?
Well, I mean, it sounds like he was trying to book you. All right, he was trying to book you.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. He was like, look at
Black.
He was trying to do so. Yes, I would say yes, he was. Yes, but in any event, oh my goodness, Nina, you have shared so much information with us. And family, I think I was telling you, there are so many apples from which to choose on this tree that comprises Nina. So Nina Ball, man, there's more information that we could share, but how about we have so many mini meals to digest that we've that you've given us, and we don't have a whole lot of time left for more meals, because we still want to talk about the information that you did share. But I do have one more question for you. Yes. What is next for you?
Well, I am working on re-releasing the book. I've secured a Black woman local publisher. So we're going to re-release the precursor. That's my first book. As I mentioned before, compiling the work for the second book and also starting to record. I also do hip hop. I rhyme actually, and I actually am very passionate about that. We freestyle with my boys. It's amazing. But more immediately, I'll be at the Isabella Gardner Museum in Boston on March 24th for an event called Speaking Volumes in tandem with Zanelli Maholi's new exhibit. And it's titled Being Maholi, Portraits as Resistance. And the really great connection there is that the first time that I came to Spelman or was invited to Spelman individually, I was commissioned to write a poem on Zanelli Maholi's work, Sonyoma Gonyoma, and it was the US premiere of that work. And this is a brilliant South African artist who the work floored me. So it's an honor to be able to, reprise my role as a poet in tandem with such just stellar genius work. And I don't throw around genius, but the portraits were arresting. I wrote a brand new poem once I got in a space with the work. That's how powerful the work is.
Wow. Well, I must say there's been so much alignment with regard to your life. Alignment, your blessings, alignment with genius. You yourself, your journey is amazing. Your journey is amazing. It is inspiring. It is, it's a lot to digest, but it's a good process of digestion, and so I must say thank you for sharing it. I could ask you tons more questions. We could talk, and I so love sharing with our family members because, like I said, everybody, you all know, I love celebrating us. I love celebrating, but I so love celebrating us. I love us. Y'all know I love you. You know I do.
Yes.
I do.
Let me just say this. I'm going to give you the floor, but Carol, just thank you so much for reaching out and asking me to tell my story and just being such an open and loving spirit in that way. I got to get you to the museum in some capacity. My wheels are spinning. But it really honestly has been a pleasure. And I just want to thank you for what you do and this service you do for our community, because this is the type of content that we do need. So thank you so much, Carol. I appreciate you.
That was a hug to my heart. Thank you. Thank you. Family, this is the time in our show that I hate. I hate this because it's when I say to you, family, that wraps up tonight's episode of Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. I just want to extend my utmost gratitude to you, family, for spending your time, your energy, and your attention with us. Your company and your attention are always welcome because I tell you so. Thank you to the entire WURD family and to my alternating co-host, Mr. Donovan West, and to our guest, Nina Elizabeth Lyrispect Ball. Thank you so much. Family, have a great night. Have a great morning. And have a great rest of your day. But remember, I tell you this all the time, we are all in this together. So be good to you, but be good to those around you. Okay? And make sure you join us at midnight for another edition, okay, of Love and Life on WURD. Have a great night, family.
Hi, I'm Tanya Hopkins, aka The Food Griot, the host of Savory and Sweet, a new show about food, history, and culture. Savory and Sweet is a flavorful exploration of food, marinated in the Black experience, seared with history and brazen culture. Each week, I'll fold in conversations that center food and drink at the intersection of business, health and well-being, entertainment, education, and innovation, while separating the facts from fiction on the sometimes surprising origins of what we eat and drink. So join me, the Food Griot, and special guests for Savory and Sweet, Food, History, and Culture every Sunday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. exclusively on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
You know, a lot of people say when you're going somewhere, you don't want to look back. But I beg to differ. For her to see her father celebrate his graduation, it's the best feeling in the world. I can't lie and say it was easy. But sometimes you just have to stop everything and take it in. I looked at everything in a different light. I realized it started with me going back and getting my high school diploma.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made her college years happen. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading a campus tour. And another, and another, and another, and another. Bam! Deciphering financial aid. She was like, what? Now she's like, you aced planning for college. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. When you don't know where to turn, let 211 be your guiding light.
How can I help you?
Our guides are ready to connect you with the help you need. For help with food, healthcare, mental health, and other resources. Call 211 or visit 211.org. 211. Get connected, get help.
Oh, hey, Julia. You ready to play band with us? I'm going to play my clarinet.
And Elmo's going to play his drum. Drum loud.
Oh, well, you know what to do, Julia.
Julia knows.
With Julia's autism, loud sounds can be too much.
But she still loves to make music. Play band.
Early screening for autism can make a lifetime of difference. Find out more at screenforautism.org.
I remember this one moment. I ran to kind of the water edge, and my mom said something along the lines of like, now it's your turn. Take that first step. When I became a mom myself, I feel like my whole world changed. There's some light within her that makes me continue to do the climate science work that I do. You don't have to be a climate scientist to want to protect the earth. As moms, we care about our children and the environment they grow up in. And for Mia, I want you to know that I worked really hard to be a part of the change and to make it a better place for you.
Imagine you on a deserted island all by yourself, or even being in a crowd of people yet still feeling alone. That's what being a victim of sexual assault can feel like. Victims of sexual assault are at an increased risk for developing depression, PTSD, substance abuse, eating disorders, and anxiety. Sexual assault can happen to anyone and is any unwanted sexual contact such as unwanted touching, fondling, groping, or even rape. No always means no, so speak up and speak out. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Lifting every voice till earth and heaven ring. This is Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia.